coming up on the Lead Ministry Podcast.
My fuel gauge on my car, if that goes to empty, it does not change what Kelly Blue Book says the value of my car is.
Now your host, Josh Denhart.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Lead Ministry Podcast. Grateful that you folks are here. Hey, guess what? Take a look at that calendar. Summer is upon us, and some thoughts and some concepts to make you not only just survive, but truly thrive this summer. And so I got my good buddy, Vance Martin. What's up?
Hey, Josh. It's been a while, man.
I know. And you used to join the podcast on the regs.
Yeah. I know. I don't know what I did to offend you.
No, you did.
I'm glad I'm back in your good graces.
Yeah. Well, how about this? What most people don't, if you've been a long-term podcast listener, Vance was a super regular. And guess what? Most people don't realize is that me and you have regular conversations every single week anyway.
Yeah. It's kind of like our therapy.
It is our therapy. During the burnout series, which was super. A lot of people were into that. We talk about making sure you have somebody outside of your church, outside of your organization, outside of your town, and outside of your denomination. Yeah. We are that for each other. All
those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
we've been doing this for about 5 years now.
We sure have. The first conversation we ever had, my transmission broke down on my vehicle. You remember that?
I do. It wasn't too long into our conversation as well. I mean, it was pretty quick.
It's like, hey, buddy, let's pick this back up. I got a dropped tranny here. No, but those are all the fun stories. But Vance, you're a gifted guy. Cat out of the bag. I believe I'm okay in saying this, that starting September, you're going to be a part of the podcast every month.
Yeah, man, let's do it. I'm looking forward to it. This is just a small taste.
It's a small foretaste. That's right. But we're talking about summer, and this is not your first rodeo, man. You have been in ministry for a long time. You've been on staff at a lot of different churches at a lot of different sizes. You were a traveling evangelist when you were a kid with your family. You got lots of ministry experience, but tell us just a little bit about the Slingshot Group so that people know what that is and understand kind of what you do for a living now, which also it because you work at the Slingshot Group, you have a lot of insight about ministry.
Yeah, I get to learn a lot, essentially, is what it is. Yeah, I grew up, my parents were in children's ministry my whole life, both evangelists and kids pastors. So I grew up, I remember what it was like to have parents that were leading camps and VBS and doing all those things as a kid, and then vocationally served at mainly large multi-site churches for about 15 years, and then started working with Slingshot Group. And at my work at Slingshot, there's two primary things we do. Kind of what we say is that we build remarkable teams through staffing and coaching. And so most of the time we are helping a church find a kids pastor or a student pastor. That's the lanes that I lead, all the next gen searches, but we help churches with basically all their hiring pastoral needs. And then the coaching stuff is we're doing assessments and team health things and one-on-one coaching. And, that's a lot of the stuff that I love doing is helping individuals. Yeah.
You truly better. Thrive at those things. And you're a man who has a way with words, and I love it. I respect you for it.
Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it, man.
You bet. You guys are kind of the matchmakers. You're the biggest and best matchmakers out there. If somebody's like, man, we sure could use a kids pastor. And you're like, did you say kids pastor? We got lots of kids pastors. And so then you kind of are a matchmaker. You help churches who have needs, and you have, people who are looking for jobs in a ministry context, and you match them up.
Oh, it's awesome. Cause I've been there. If you've been in ministry for any length of time, you've been in a transition, and we get to be a coach and support on both sides. So if people are looking for a role, come look for me. I'll help you.
That's right.
We've got plenty of great churches that we're working with. And one thing I love, if a church is investing in a search with us, it means that they value this ministry.
Mm-hmm.
So
because they're looking to find somebody good, somebody who's vetted, somebody who's been out there.
Yeah, totally.
I'll tell you what, buddy, summer is upon us though. And
it's here. This year has gone by so fast, Josh. What happened? This is ridiculous.
Yes. And here we are though. We're teeing up the big summer push. And so, a lot of people, you have to put on some different lenses. It can't be about just surviving. It's got to be truly about surviving.
Yes.
So you have, how do you want to go about doing this? You want to read off your list and then we'll touch each one? You want to just go one by one?
Yeah. Let's go one by one. I've got some thoughts about, as I've reflected on, what I learned, like I said, as a kid, growing up watching my dad, but then also doing this for many, many years
yourself.
And myself. So I would say these are some principles that I learned, or even mistakes that I made that you don't have to.
Yeah.
The biggest, a big one for me is obviously there's so many big events that are all consuming, VBS or camp or missions trips.
Yep.
There's so many things that during those summer months that we pack so much in, and it's really easy to get overwhelmed and not take care of ourselves. And so my suggestion is this: take time off pre and post events. A lot of times when people say, I'm going to take vacation after VBS, but I would say take off, if your VBS starts on Monday, do all the prep and everything you can to take off an extra day the week before. And
totally agree.
To then come into that VBS as refreshed and ready as you can. And I think it's a biblical principle. So God created everything we see and all that he made in 6 days. And on the seventh day, he rested. And this is a model for us for Sabbath, but he created out of a place of rest. So it was resting for and resting from. And so I think that there's a lot to learn there that we have to be intentional about.
I would agree
about that.
I would agree. And here's something a lot of people already know, that I have this thing called the Amazing Chemistry Show. Fine. Great. Love it. Big event. I'm coming into town, right? We're doing this big event. But the funny thing, Vance, is that leading up to the Amazing Chemistry Show, I tell people, like, the very first email that I send out when somebody books a show is, okay, number one, pre-book your vacation time on the back end of this chemistry show right now. And there have been scores of people who've been like, I'm really glad you told me to do that, because I thought, meh. They're like, well, okay, I'll just take his advice. And they're like, oh my word, I can't wait, because it is a lot of work.
Yes. I think there's the macro planning of that. I have a big event, so I'm going to take a vacation. This is one thing. I think there's also the micro version of this where it looks like, okay, and this is not just a summertime. This is an all time. How do you operate and thriving and not just surviving? If I'm going to have a very emotionally draining, intense conversation with my boss, with a family in the church, I'm gonna plan in an hour after that just to recover from that. If you just go, we can be so busy. We have these meetings, and then I'm just going to go right into working on my email. And what you'll find is that you are your body and your mind is so drained that if you would have just rested for an hour, then you can start work and accomplish way more than you could have if you would have just jumped right in after that intense meeting. So there's the micro as well.
I think I'm gonna take that. I think I'm gonna take that for myself, because after I do a taxing thing, maybe I go for a short walk. Maybe I drink a big glass of water. Here's something that I tried a couple weeks ago. Didn't stick, but I tried it, is that every hour after a big task, I was doing 10 to 20 like body weight squats. Just moving. I'm going to do it again though, Vance. I'm going to pick her back up. I think it's a good practice.
Got this.
Right.
It is.
Okay. I like the micro moment. So it's not like, yes, after a big event that I just totally pounded out, maybe I will take 2 or 3 days and I won't come to the office and I won't check my email. I'll just have a little downtime. But you can also have that in the middle of your day. Who says you can't?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do that a lot with walking my dog.
Okay.
You know, it's just like, oh, I got to get out of this office. That was a big meet. Let's just go see if Millie wants to go outside.
And Millie wants to all the time.
Millie is she's down for it.
Now I got to ask you this question because I saw this thing on Facebook. You know how they'll throw you up the algorithm, and for some reason right now, I'm getting a lot of like dog owner videos where all of a sudden they just go, "Would you?" and the dog goes, and they say, "Like to." Yeah. And they're like, do you go on a, and they say walk, and the dog is ready to go. Does your dog do that?
Yeah, totally, Millie. Absolutely.
So they say that a smart dog can know 15 to 50 words and identify them. And walk that's
definitely one of them. Definitely one of them.
Okay, take us to the next one.
All right. Don't let your numbers dictate your value.
Oh, wow.
My last church was in Chicagoland. And one of the things about summer is people, when you can go outside, they want to go outside. Mm-hmm. And our numbers would drop by a third easily during the summer, if not half.
Yes.
And it's really easy if your value is tied to how many volunteers and leaders and kids that you have and new families coming in. You know, is it a metric? Is it something we should watch on the dashboard? Yes. But my fuel gauge on my car, if that goes to empty, it does not change what Kelly Blue Book says the value of my car is.
Preach that. That's a really good analogy. Just because my tank is empty doesn't mean that the car's worth less.
That's right. That's right. And I think so often and rightfully so, sometimes this pressure is put on by our leaders. Mm-hmm. And so that's something that, you know, if that is really important to your leaders and they're watching that, to respect that, but that still cannot dictate how you are valued. Your value is not tied up in those numbers.
And guess what, Vance? You can't.
Back in the fall.
You can't. And here's why that's so tricky, because a lot of that's out of my control.
Yes. Kids don't drive.
Kids don't drive. And so a lot of youth don't drive. And I'm not in control of people's baseball schedule. I'm not in control of whether baseball is this or that important to them. I'm not in control of when they go on vacation.
That's right. Yeah.
And so really, it's got to come down to quality, though. Quality, not quantity. And so all of a sudden, who shows up? Like, trust that this sovereignly God has orchestrated that these kids or these youth or these adults are the ones that need love and need care.
We used to really, I remember my first, so I had never really been in the Midwest. The churches that I worked at up until my Chicago church were in the South. You don't have there is some drop off in the South, but not near as much as when we were in Chicago. I mean, it was significant. And I remember coming into my first summer, not being used to that and seeing how low my volunteers numbers were, or having people call out because they're sick or there are vacations. Yes. And what I realized is I don't have to stress, because typically if I have less volunteers, I'm going to have less kids too.
Preach. I learned that hard lesson.
They are connected together.
They are.
And so it will just, as long as you have a faithful and you've done your due diligence, it's going to take care of itself.
This is a good word. I have said that before. I say to my team, I'm like, hang on now. Everybody's dropping like flies. that means that we're going to have less kids. And lo and behold, that's exactly what would happen. But it takes a little bit of seasoning. It takes a couple of ministry gray hairs on your head before you go, hey, wait a minute. I'm seeing a pattern.
I remember this.
You can't fool me. Yeah. Well, that's good. Numbers aren't, it's not all about numbers. It's about, and that can feel really weird, right? Where, you see on Facebook or something where somebody is so down in the dumps that they had, half of what they expected.
Right. Yeah.
It can be tough.
But our value, it's not what's in fuel tank.
Okay.
Doesn't affect what Kelly,
Kelly Blue Book.
says.
I love that. Okay. Give us a third one, buddy.
Summer serve. Be intentional about inviting people to low levels of commitment to experience what it's like to serve, to go all in the fall.
Now,
and so one of the things that we used to do is our bar was typically pretty high for what we expected, how often you would serve. And so in the summer, we would do a one-time summer serve. You just serve one month, like one time, just serve one time. Mm-hmm. And that gives our people a break. But capitalize on that and make that one time the best experience ever, and making that investment pays dividends in the fall. And you always end that with, that was amazing, right? You enjoyed that. Yeah, I love it. You think you would want to do that more often? I think I might. So we use summer actually, and that summer serve as a way to stack our roster for the fall.
And almost testing the waters. Does this person have an acumen for kids? Do they have a proclivity for parents? Can they do this? Now, Vance, I got to ask, and I know the answer is no, but did you happen to somehow, did you bug my office? Because this is the podcast that we just recorded about summer. We did an entire episode. So you were reinforcing the podcast so like this, we have a summer intro, we have a summer second one, and then it's going to be Vance. And you just re-emphasized exactly so that's what we did. We had lower commitment, and we wanted to make it like you come in and we're even giving you the slow moving softball so that you feel like a hero. That was all by design.
Yes. Very intentional.
We give them a rest, but we're looking for easy win. Bro, you literally just summarized, and you didn't even know it. That must mean that we both did a good job in our day.
Maybe we did. I don't know.
We did. Maybe
so, man. The next one I would say is be as intentional with your family as you are with the families of your church.
Good word.
During the summertime, especially, you've got your kids are out of school. I'm in ministry today because my dad and my mom were so intentional with, yes, we had a busy summer and VBS and camps and all the things, but we did it together as a family. And it was an opportunity for me to be a part of what we were doing. And I think it's so often you can be so consumed with all of the things and the programming that your family can take a back seat. Mm-hmm. And you're forced to choose, am I making a relational deposit or withdrawal? And I think the secret is that when you involve your family and you're intentional as doing things as a family, it isn't, you can be all in on an event or some programming aspect and it be an actual investment
into your family.
Into your kids.
So what I'm hearing you say is it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. It's not like, hey, we got this big event. Well, I'm clearly blowing off my family. Not true.
No. And here's one thing I would just give yourself permission to treat your kids differently.
Preach.
They give up a lot. So call them up on the stage. Let them do things that other kids don't get to do.
Yes.
That should be a perk.
It's totally true. I have never talked about this.
Don't be ashamed of it.
I've never talked about this on the podcast before, but what we used to do is that we would invite all staff families during the day of the big, huge fall festival. And we'd say, hey, listen, we know you're going to be working at the fall festival and there's going to be 6,000 people over the next 3 nights. Good luck getting in line for the bounce house. That sounds like a horrible idea. So all of the staff people, we would literally pull our kids from school and we would have free reign of all of the bounce houses. We'd turn them all on. We did all of the games. And so then my kids had special, unique experiences with other staff kids.
Right.
And I got to get in and jump with them. And so we did the specialty things. I'm glad you brought that up. So do special things with your kids.
Yeah. We did the same thing. We had our day camp with we had zip lines and inflatables, and we had a couple hours, just staff kids, just
right,
intentional. Yeah. And so it's,
I like that.
And it goes beyond the ministry stuff. I think that is helpful, but if you can be as intentional with your family, start a new tradition during the summer. Let's go to breakfast once a week, just you and your kids.
Pajamas only.
Yeah, make something special and different. You're thinking constantly about how can I make things special and unique and memorable for my ministry, for the families in my ministry. Just take that same intentionality, and little things go a long way and speak volumes to your kids.
It's so
that
good.
Impact is
so make sure summer has some touch with your own family for sure. Be intentional.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Next one is do low effort, high impact events.
I love this one.
So one of the things that I just got tired of to me, this is a year round, not just summer, but specifically in summer. What are some things that we can do that, obviously VBS or day camp or overnight camp or the mission trip, those are, no matter how you slice this, it's high impact, but it's also high effort. That's right. High impact. So what can I do that's low effort, but have a high impact? Well, let's do a family serve event. Let's go to Feed My Starving Children, and all I have to do is set up the call and make it and put out the promotional and say, hey, we're meeting here as families, and we're gonna fill bags together that are gonna be, shipped out, the potato flakes
to kids
or
in
whatever.
Haiti. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, whatever. It's easy. We're gonna do a grandparent craft day, where and a lot of times what we would do with this one is adopt a grandparent. So there's grandparents that don't have grandkids or don't have grandkids near them. And there's also kids that don't have grandparents and so we would invite them and just have a bunch of, dollar store crafts, or we'd hit up Michael's when they would be getting rid of all that stuff post summer. We'd stock up on all that stuff and just put it out on the tables and have fun. Just go for it. Or picnic at the park. Pick a park, pick a date, say families were coming, bring dinner, bring lunch, have some yard games out there, and just let them
do the programming.
Yeah, let them do the programming. It's some of the best programming there is.
That's right.
The most meaningful thing there is. Could be if you've got some property, do a bonfire and just tell everybody, bring your own s'mores. Or
bring your own chair, the end.
Yes.
And so then kids are now running and romping around and having a good time, and mom and dad are sitting by the fire in their own camping chair that you didn't have to provide. That is high impact, low cost to you.
Yeah. Low effort. So what are those things that we can do that are going to not add a whole bunch of stuff to you and your volunteers? Because those things, that's the thing with those types of events. It might not be something that you have to plan, but that you don't have to recruit volunteers for, that they don't have to spend time doing. Let's just create space for people to connect and do things together.
Popsicles at the park. Go buy 100 popsicles. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. And people are looking for that, especially in the summer. All right, I got one more.
Okay, buddy.
And this is capture wins and celebrate. A lot of times, especially with these high impact events, your VBS, your camps, one of the things that I made the mistake of several times is the week would go by and I'd go, oh, I didn't get any pictures. I didn't. And so have somebody that's their job, or you just be intentional about doing that, capturing video, capturing pictures, so that you can have those stories and use them next year when it comes time for you to talk about your day camp. So you can play that video or tell that story of the life change that happened last year at day camp. And so why would people want to be a part of it? It's because Johnny's whole family now comes to their church, and here they are on the stage right here.
Yeah.
And if you're not intentional with capturing those wins, you then can't use them. Celebrating wins is like the rocket fuel to your vision. It's storytelling. When you're storytelling and you're telling these stories of what God is doing, what it does is that's the best recruiting tool that you have, because it reinforces this is why we do what we do. So it promotes your vision and your mission internally, and it sparks interest externally. So then people, they're attracted to that. They want to be a part of that. But if you're not intentional about capturing them, if you're so busy and up to your eyeballs with all the tasks that you've got going on, those wins are going to pass you by, and you're not going to be able to capture them. And so being intentional with either you or somebody that their job is to listen for those wins, take those pictures so that you have something to use.
I've got 2 suggestions on this. Here's kind of what we did. I understood that this mom and that mom both had multi-$1,000 cameras, and they were so desperate to be to start their own photography business. And they have this unbelievably great lens that their husband was like, whatever, just do it. And they are literally looking for opportunities. And so I knew who those ladies were. And I would say, hey, could you? And they're like, absolutely. I'm looking for any excuse to use that camera. And so they were usually hot, awesome photos. And we would enlist them. And so I had this short list of people that I knew that needed to justify their multi-$1,000 camera. Right. That was first. Second, I would find out from my kids or whatever who, and this is a nowadays thing. It was less of a thing back when, but who's really good at CapCut. And if you don't know what CapCut is, you're behind the times, friend. Right. So CapCut is like your phone. There's an app called CapCut, and you can make legitimate real videos, really good ones, and put music on them. It's like a video editing program for your phone. It is. And my daughter is, if you are looking on social media and you see anything about the chemistry show that's like pictures or what, I'm capturing the footage or somebody at an event. My daughter, CapCut, $25 a video. So at the end of the day, there is some kid out there who, like, just ask around who's awesome.
They would love doing it.
Who's awesome at this, and so then get somebody else to do it, man.
Yeah. So it's the physically capturing those videos and things but it's also just being intentional with the stories. Yeah. And remembering those, writing those down, so that you can use it. You can relay them in the future. You could relay them in the future. Absolutely. Well, Vance, I have a stories crock pot. I have just in my notes app. Just keep a note. Just a stories. Let them simmer in there. Yeah. So when you hear a story, you capture it. Take the notes. Yeah, that's good, because you never know when your senior pastor is like, "Hey, I am looking for," and you're like, "Got it. I got that story." Here. That's right. Exactly. That's well, you got to take care of yourself in the summer, man. You got to find some downtime. But these are some very practical things. Vance, true story. You never cease to amaze me. You're a gifted guy, man. I'm excited. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. This is my honor to be a part and to just contribute to this community. And you bet, man. It's a blessing.
Well, more good things to come. More good things to come. Well, gang, super grateful. Thank you that you guys and gals were here for yet another opportunity with the Lead Ministry Podcast. We're grateful for Vance Martin of Slingshot Group, and he was here today with us, and we will catch you guys on the next one.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Lead Ministry Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and visit leadvolunteers.com for more episodes and resources. Thanks for listening.